Hello and good morning. This is Dr. Yonette coming to you again with another one of our sessions. It's Friday. You've made it through the week with baby, and oh, what a beautiful week it must have been. I know you're overjoyed each day as you see your baby grow and develop and exhibit or demonstrate some of those wonderful developmental milestones that we have been talking about. Well, today I want to take a little pause and speak specifically to those mothers and fathers who have their babies that were born with defects or babies that have certain disabilities. Now, according to the CDC in the United States, every 4.5 minutes, a baby is born with a birth defect. So that birth defect affects 1 in 33 babies in the United States every year. And that translates to about 120,000 babies being born each year in the United States only with a defect. So if you have a baby that came out perfectly, praise God, thank the Lord. And if you have a baby with some defects, love him, love her anyhow. Now, what are defects? When I talk about defects, what am I referring to? Defects are critical conditions that can cause lifelong challenges. And these defects can lead to delays in the baby's development. You may have your baby may have a heart defect, he may have a hearing defect, there may be difficulties with breathing. Also, the extremities might not have developed well, so you have certain defects. You may have a facial defect like cleft lip. There are lots of different defects that babies are born with. And how do you know? How do you know when your baby is having delays in his or her development? It can be because of those defects that I mentioned earlier, or it could be that there's a hidden defect that you do not readily notice. Now, when we talk about delays, we are also talking about slower development of their ability to do things like communicate and socialize and think, the cognition, and manage their emotions. So those are the delays we are talking about when we talk about development, slower development in their abilities in these areas. So as new moms and dads, it can be a little difficult for you to notice the developmental delays because you are like totally new to this thing. You don't know exactly what to look for. So here are a few signs that I want you to check on and to keep focusing on as your baby develops or as your baby experiences delays. One, if your baby suddenly change, if you see a sudden change in your baby or in your child, for example, when you call out the child's name, the child would respond, and then suddenly the child stops responding, that's a red flag. If you notice that you play music or you say certain things to your baby and your baby responds, and then he or she suddenly stops doing that, that's a red flag. If your child, and now we are moving a little away from just baby, if your child may be a toddler or maybe in a 6 months to 10-month period of development, the child has frequent tantrums and it takes a longer time for you to calm the child down, that's a red flag. Now, number two, you want to look at if your child is achieving the developmental milestones that other children are showing. When you compare your baby to other children, is your baby at the same developmental continuum or level or place that other babies are. And of course, people or babies develop at different rates, but in that general range, the best way for you to compare to see where your child is or your baby is to place your baby in a position or in an environment where you have children of similar age. And then you can see what those children are doing. And that would help you to be able to recognize where your baby is. Now, if your baby, you've done all of that and you found that your baby is not developing normally, you need to talk with your pediatrician, and they're going to help you through the process. Each baby has a well visit, and when you take your baby to your well visit, the pediatrician would look at how your baby is developing. And if the pediatrician has worries or concerns about your baby, and if you have been keeping your journal and you have concerns about your baby, you can bring them to the pediatrician's attention, and then your pediatrician would refer you to a specialist for an evaluation. Again, the idea is to have very, very early, and I'm saying this again, early intervention, so that the baby has enough opportunities to be able to develop those milestones that would help him or her to be successful in life. If you have a baby that was born with a deficit and you have some concerns, speak with your pediatrician. Again, I'm saying this, speak with your pediatrician. Let him or her help you through this experience. It doesn't have to be, though, that because your baby has a deficit, that your baby would not have a good life. All you need to do is to continue to provide opportunities for your baby to develop as well as he or she is capable of. And find specialists and individuals in your community in the medical field that can help you through that process. I am an occupational therapist, and I work with a lot of children who have developmental delays. And it's amazing how children who are born with certain deficits are capable of achieving at the levels that we would not ordinarily feel that they could. And some parents, because they don't know better, they just leave their child to to just be where they are and continue to exist with those delays. When in actuality, you can give the child those intervention opportunities that would bring him or her to where he or she is capable of achieving and performing certain life skills, certain work skills that would help him feel better about his or herself and be able to participate in society. Despite the kind of child that you have had, your child can be perfectly made, with 10 toes and 10 fingers, beautiful smile, and lovely hair. Or your child could have been born with very, very obvious deficits or defects. I want you to look at this opportunity that you have been given to raise a child as a blessing, whether or not your child is whole or injured. And love your child to the fullest. While loving your child, I want you to give your child the opportunity to develop to the best of his or her ability. Leave no stone unturned. Commit your life to that child so that he or she can live his purpose in the body in which he was born. This is Dr. Yonette. Thank you for joining me today. and I look forward to connecting with you tomorrow. Remember to send me your videos, your pictures, your aha moments, your laugh out loud moments with your baby. And to do that, you would need to join my Facebook page, Skincare Explosion with Dr. Yonette. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we can work together to bring your child to a developmental stage that is rewarding and that makes you proud. Have a great day.